Hi folks. As Americans go to the polls in the general election next year, at this stage it looks to be a bad choice between two old men. One who faces a total of 91 federal and state charges that add up to a potential maximum sentence of 717 years behind bars, or the other, the incumbent, who probably can't even count to 91 without falling asleep. Here's the latest instalment of a slow and confused president at Camp David over the weekend when he first answered a question about his son Hunter.
I have no comment on any investigation that's going on. That's up to the Justice Department, and that's all I have to say. Now I will yield to, who am I yielding to?
Distinguished guest, the President of the Republic of Korea.
We needed the voice of God to tell us that. Excuse me, this is falling off. There you go. And thank you.
This concludes our press conference. Please stay seated as the leaders depart, please. Please stay seated.
We're winning all the competition.
It is a sad state of affairs that the highest level of American leadership has come to this. But Donald Trump and Joe Biden are not outliers here. The rot set into Washington a long time ago. For all of Trump's faults, and there are many, including the despotic attempts to cling to power after he lost the last election, he was, and to many still is, the answer for those who've given up on Washington. According to a recent Pew research, public trust in government remains low, as it has for much of the 21st century. Just 2 in 10 Americans say they trust the government in Washington to do what is right. If we bring up the graph, you can see it's been a persistent view since former President George W. Bush's second term in office. Even more shocking when it's compared to 1958, when about 3/4 of Americans trusted the federal government to do the right thing almost always or most of the time. Then came the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, ensuing economic struggles, so on and so forth. People have asked the question, was pardoning Richard Nixon a mistake and therefore the beginning of the downward slide? We already mentioned George W. Bush. His Iraq war was based on a lie. Some have called this the beginning of the post-truth era. Donald Trump's indictments have him out on his own in terms of legal trouble, but other presidents and would-be presidents have helped create this era of distrust. If anyone was Teflon before Donald Trump, it was Bill Clinton. Clinton survived allegations of drug use, dodging the Vietnam draft, plus Jennifer Flowers' affair with Slick Willie. Monica Lewinsky came along and Clinton didn't just survive that, he increased his approval ratings. As Nick Bryant noted in the Sydney Morning Herald last week, Clinton has not only given Trump a playbook, but also bequeathed him a changed polity. In the 1990s, the Democrats' 2 tumultuous terms in office helped desensitise the American people to presidential scandal. He lowered that behavioural bar. There's also the other Clinton, Hillary, Trump's one-time rival. The former Secretary of State had this to say about Trump's string of indictments just last week.
The only satisfaction may be that the system is working, that all of the efforts by Donald Trump, his allies and his enablers to try to silence the truth, to try to undermine democracy, have been brought into the light, and justice is being pursued.
But it was Hillary Clinton who first used the words stolen election, a claim she levelled at Trump after an election she lost.
I think it's also critical to understand that, as I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Donald Trump has certainly done quite a job of feeding mistrust into the system of democracy, but it's not just a case of whataboutism to say that others have too, because many have played a role to get things where they are today. Even though the FBI cleared her 2 days before the election, Hillary Clinton used a private email server to send off thousands of emails containing classified information. Joe Biden is doing anything he can to avoid legitimate questions on his son Hunter, as the weight of evidence against Biden and his family involving cash for influence grows by the day. But the people aren't stupid. Back to Pew Research, it found 65% of respondents said most political candidates run for office to serve their own personal interests. And that, by the way, is not just an American thing. And also, Donald Trump, he's not going anywhere. Thanks for watching. To support this channel, please like, share and subscribe below. See you next week.